What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of here in Minnesota. I also work in sales and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. Her name is Naomi Channell. She has a TV producer and she is head of on-screen talent for Curve Media Limited. She has worked with different type of programming networks such as ITV, BBC, MTV, and TLC, just to name a few. She is based in the UK overseas and actually is my first guest from the overseas in the UK. So I'm excited to talk to her about her why of getting into media, get to know her a little bit outside of her job. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, talented, hardworking, and beautiful Naomi Channell. Hello there. How we doing, Naomi?
Hi Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You look absolutely lovely this morning.
Oh, you are a charmer, you American men. We've heard about you.
I know that's right. I know it. But listen, I speak the truth. I got to speak the truth on that one. Okay.
You're
I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on my podcast. I really do
so
appreciate
welcome.
it. Work hard and play harder. Please let me know how your week is going. It's midweek. How's your week going so far?
It's midweek. It feels like it's been a year. I've got a lot of projects on the go that all have a deadline in the
Mm.
next few weeks. So it's been, and you'll know this as a journalist, some weeks are calmer than others. And this
Oh,
week
no
is a
question.
busier week. But next week, I'm hoping the decline will come down and we can start to chill for, dare I say, Christmas already. So fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
But you'll know all about that, I'm sure. Those you get some weeks that completely and utterly just you don't know what time it is, you don't know what day it is. You're just kind of rolling with the punches and hoping that everything will be all right.
I
So far,
love that. Absolutely, Naomi. No doubt about that. I want to reiterate to you why I wanted to have you on here. I know that you're a TV producer
Mhm,
for Curve Media Limited. I
mhm,
know you work with programming networks such as ITV, BBC, MTV, TLC as well. So obviously very versed in that instance of working with programming networks and been a producer for over 10 plus years. No question about it. So you've been in the media space. As you say, you have a lot of projects going on. As you stated, also, I'm a journalist, and
mhm.
I love to be able to talk to different people in media and find out their why. Everybody's story is unique and different. You're actually the first guest on my podcast from overseas, the UK, which is
Woo! I love that.
right.
Represent England, yeah.
Absolutely, and I love your accent. I love it. It's
Oh,
beautiful. No
thank you.
question. I've never been to the UK, and it's also on my bucket list. So we'll definitely have some questions about that of things I should explore
Absolutely.
when I do come there. But I wanted to hear your story about why you came into the media space because we just don't get an opportunity to be able to sit down
Mm.
like this and talk. Right? We're always on the go. We're always doing different stuff, different projects. But it's great to be able to sit down and talk to you and hear your why. So, with that being said, Naomi, my first question is the same as always. What is
Mhm.
your why of doing what you do? What did you have any role models growing up? Did you have any inspiration in your life growing up that you kind of wanted to model your career after? But what is your why of joining the media industry?
So, they always say never meet your heroes, right? That's a saying.
It
So,
is.
my first job in TV was with one of my own heroes. So, we have a TV producer and presenter and journalist here in the UK called
Okay.
Trisha Goddard. Now, Trisha is our version of Oprah is probably the nearest thing that I
Wow.
can get to it. Okay. So
Okay.
she's an incredible woman. She had a chat show here that was um it had little bits of like Ricky Lake, I guess is probably the biggest
Absolutely.
comparison. It was never sort of as wild as Jerry Springer. It was a bit more conscientious.
Mhm.
Trisha, it was the first Black woman on TV in Australia. She's actually from the UK, but she moved to Australia.
Okay.
She's one of the first people to interview Nelson Mandela. So
Wow.
she has got this incredible history behind her. And then she was back in the UK and she had a talk show, and people would come and talk about different things. And there would be, you know, the kind of paternity tests and would be lie detectors, but she would also do quite serious issues. And she was always really open about her mental health. And in England at the time, those conversations were really limited when I was growing
Right.
up. So this is kind of like, you know, 25 years ago. And I
Sure.
used to love her show and I used to watch it. And I used to love how she could get a story out of people. No matter if it was traumatic, she would always do it so gently and so carefully.
Mhm.
And I went to watch her show in the audience, you know how you guys do it in the States as well. And I went to
Absolutely.
watch it. And do you know what I did, Chris? I asked her for a job. I was 19 years old and I
Okay.
went up to her and I said, I was actually working in sports at the time. I was a fitness instructor and I just
Okay.
finished college and I was doing all that, but it wasn't, I liked it, but it didn't have the passion, you know, it didn't have that thing that made me think, oh, I can't wait to get to work today. Um,
Absolutely.
and my dad always said, you know, find the job you enjoy. You'll never work a day in your life. You'll thrive. And I thought,
Absolutely right.
okay. So I just went up to her and I said, Trisha, can I have a job?
Mhm.
And nowadays, I'm not that fearless. I think we all were quite fearless, weren't we, Chris, when we were in our teenage years, you know?
Absolutely.
We're
Yes.
different people now. And you know what? She
Mhm.
just looked at me and was like, okay, yeah, let me introduce you to someone. And she got me on as a runner on her show. So that kind of means that you make the teas and coffees, you look after everyone, you help write the scripts. And after about 3 weeks, one of the producers sort of noticed me talking to one of the guests on the show. And it
Yeah.
was quite a serious segment. And I think I was just showing sympathy and empathy. And I was like, I'm so sorry you've been through that. You know, this is a great platform for you. You can speak your truth on this show. And, you know, if there's anything we can do to help. And I was just doing what I've been brought up to do, really. And someone heard me and I thought I was going to get told off, you know, being the runner, make the teas
Of
and,
course.
do that. And
Yep.
you've got a really good way of talking to people. And I
Mhm.
said, oh, do you think so? And they said, why don't you be a researcher on the show instead? And it went from there really. So I then started researching on the show, and from there I went to do quite a few sort of big entertainment shows that I know you guys have too. So all of Simon Cowell's sort of shows like X Factor
Absolutely.
and everything.
Yep.
And then Big Brother, I'm sure you've had that over there where everyone's just in a room together, in a house together and driving each other mad. And so I was part of the casting process, finding really interesting personalities with really interesting stories that the public would relate to.
Sure.
And Trisha had taught me a lot when I worked on that show. She taught me so much. She was like, when you're casting these things, make sure that everyone watching is represented. And that always stuck with me. So I'd
Mhm.
have a really diverse cast of characters coming into these shows. And it would just make for really interesting viewing because everyone was so different. Everyone had had such different life experiences. And then a natural kind of progression, I guess, in TV is going into sort of documentaries. So I was sort of this self-taught journalist in the beginning, working on all these shows, kind of being thrown in at the deep end. And
Right.
by the age of sort of 22, I'd become a producer, which was quite a big step up. And I couldn't think about what it was because I'd never been to university. I'd never done any of the really we come from a town that's not very well off. We're not very wealthy people here. So you just kind of go to your local college and then it's like good luck, kind of thing.
Sure.
Um,
Yes.
and then I just got into it and I love people, Chris. I love what you're doing. I think it's great. I think you love talking to people. You can see that. You can kind of be a chameleon and just kind of fit to the surroundings around you. And
Absolutely.
that's what I started to do. And then it got to a stage in my career where I wanted to focus more on documentaries and crime, especially, and victims of crime. And that's the majority of what I've been doing since. But I also still do those entertainment shows and stuff for a bit of a break as well, just to get some
Absolutely.
happiness in and some joy.
I love that. I do. And I love that just beginning of that first question, of that answer. That is so amazing, right? And when you
Yeah.
are young, you're in prove it mode. And you're also fearless because you want to go up and
Yeah.
you want to like prove yourself, and you want to also, you're fearless because it's like, what's the worst they can say? No?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Right? As we get older, some of that fearlessness goes away a little bit, I'm for sure. But
Totally.
but the fact that you was amazing, right? Going up to one of your heroes, asking about that, busting your chops, but working hard, working your way up from researcher to now producer. That's
Yeah.
amazing, and that's just
Thank
a
you.
testament to your hard work. But it's also a testament to taking advantage of an opportunity that
Yes.
was presented. And a
Yes.
lot of
Yes.
time, sometimes people miss that mark. They miss their opportunities that's
Yeah.
presented at times. And it's because of that fearlessness of, you know what, you had it in your mind. I'm going to go up to her. I'm going to talk to her. And I
Yeah.
think more people should be able to do that in this industry as well. Because it's not just
Absolutely.
about what you know, it's also about who you know as well.
And just being kind and humble as well. And I think that
Without
was
question.
sometimes in TV, especially, people come in with I guess, a preconception of what everyone's going to be like.
Sure.
They have watched shows like there's an American show, I think it's called Unreal, and it's basically behind the scene. It's a drama, but it's about the behind the scenes of a TV show, and everyone's mad and everyone's drunk all the time, and everyone's ego kind of gets the better of them. And actually, yes, there are people like that, but the majority of people are just people like me who are just really interested in a genre or a type of programming, or they want to see parts of themselves reflected in TV shows. So I think that that's probably what it is. But to be fearless again, like a 19-year-old, Chris, I would pay big money for that if I could find where to get that potion, I tell you.
True. True. I would still say I may have a little bit of that, but definitely not as much as I did as I was 19.
Yes.
Sure, no question. Looking at it, you went to the University of Worcester, if I'm not mistaken.
Of Worcester, yeah, Worcester. So we pronounce it Worcester. Um,
Worcester. Okay. Ooh, thank
Worcester,
you.
yeah. So that's a funny one because I didn't study TV there, and I didn't
Mhm.
go to university until 9 years ago. And I tell you why. At 26, I was pregnant, and I hadn't it was a very happy accident, let's say. She's my absolute world now, my daughter, but she was not planned. So I
She's
had this
adorable, by the way.
very yeah, she's so cute. She's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
And she came along, and it was like I got really worried, Chris, because sometimes as a woman who has to take quite, a bit of time off to have a baby,
Sure.
um, it's scary. And I thought, and all the shows that I'd done before then, I'd done a lot of traveling around the world with shows, with shoots, studios, even in the UK, maybe like 3-4 hours away.
Okay.
We have two main cities that we film in really in the UK, and that's Manchester and London, and one's at the north of the country, and I'm just outside of London in the south. So there were a
Got
few
you.
shows where I'm filming up in Manchester, or I'm in locate on location somewhere. And I thought, how am I going to make this work with a baby? And so I kind of freaked out a bit. And my brother's a doctor, my sister's a nurse. And I was like, I need to, maybe I'll do something else. So I went to study to be an antenatal teacher. And
Right.
that's kind of, don't know if you know much. I think you have, are they called Lamar's classes? I think in
Yes.
the US. So just before you have your first baby, you go along and you learn how to kind of the ins and outs of birth and feeding,
Right.
all of that kind of stuff. And it just seemed like something that I'd always had a bit of a passion to. I love babies, Chris. If I want to feel happy, give me a baby, and I'll give them a nice cuddle. And I
I
thought,
love it. I love it.
I love babies so much. And you know what? Giving birth, it really empowered me. And I thought, God, it's amazing what women's bodies can do. Like, I wonder if I
Mhm.
can get into this instead. And I did it. And Chris, I studied for 2 years, but it was an open course. So
Okay.
you would go every like few months and you do an intensive weekend, and then you go back and do work experience locally in the maternity wards. But in that time, I was still working in TV. I had managed Curve Media, who I work for now. They are the
Hmm.
best company ever. And it's because my boss, she has four biological children and two
Okay.
adopted children,
That's
and
awesome.
or stepchildren, but they're adopted. And she said to me, I don't want you to ever feel like you can't come back to the industry just because you've had a baby. So she said, if you want to work here part-time, but also carry on studying for this antenatal kind of course, then you can see how you feel after. Maybe you can do a mix of both. And that's what I did for quite a few years. So I would, in the evenings, I would go and teach antenatal classes to new parents. And
Hmm.
then in the daytime, I would do 3 days a week in TV, and it worked. But then I got promoted at work, and I sort of said goodbye to the baby side of things and handed that over to someone else who now does it, who's brilliant. And I
Sure.
came back to TV and then started a podcast just like you did. So then I've now got a few different things going, and I also teach as well. So I teach journalism to the younger generation,
I love it.
which is so important. And I'm sure there have been people that have asked you questions before, or asked you for advice, who are coming up. And I
Yes.
think, as I mentioned, the town I live in, it's not a very rich town at all. So for girls and boys to be in my class and to see someone actually working in industry as
Right.
well as coming in to teach has made so much difference, because so many of them now believe that they can have a career in journalism or television or radio, um, because they're seeing living proof of it. Does that make sense? So they're kind of
Absolutely. Yes.
they're and that's why I'll never give it up, even though, if I overhear a teacher, the money is poor and the hours are long and the paperwork
Sure.
is crazy. But what you get back from that and the young people is it's worth $1 million.
I love that. And yeah, I definitely saw that in the research I was doing. You definitely do teach. And I love the fact that you were doing different things of that nature while you were, pregnant, having these children. And that's amazing. To
Thank
me,
you.
that's one of the most amazing things about ladies being in the journalism space, to be able to juggle so many different things, and still be able to do what you love passionately. And that is just truly tremendous. Another thing you said about paying it forward, teaching these younger generation kids coming up. I do have a lot of high schoolers, I call them my young boys and young girls, who ask me questions about covering games, writing stories.
Yeah.
And I try to just be as open and honest with them as possible. One of the things, Naomi, that I definitely tell them is, you two things. One, try everything.
Yes.
Once you get into college or once you get into your trade school or whatever you want to do, however you want to go the journalism route, try everything, right? Radio, writing, broadcasting, producing, directing, whatever you have to do, just try it all, because that
Yeah.
allows you to see what you like and what you don't like. And
Hmm.
I think that's a great way to kind of break into journalism, be a jack of all trades, right? So that's one of the things I like to tell them. The next thing is be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I live my life like that, Naomi. I really do. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. I love that. It really shapes the character of individuals.
Hmm.
It shapes the mindset of our younger generation that life is not always comfortable, and if you can handle things in an occupational sense where it is uncomfortable, then life is going to be a breeze. But it's hard to do that because our nature is to do things that make us comfortable and not
Yeah.
step that box.
Yeah.
So I love to tell my young kids, be comfortable being uncomfortable. I also substitute teach, so when I
That's
substitute, yeah,
amazing.
thank you, I
Yeah.
thank you so much. So I like to tell my young boys and girls that for sure.
Amazing. It's so the rewards you get back from it, and I'm sure you feel the same when you see someone make it, or even just grow in confidence, or they come to you with a piece of work that you never would have expected them to write or record. I've got a couple of students, especially, I don't know if you found this, Chris, but the COVID pandemic really
Mm,
knocked their confidence a lot because they were at home during quite pivotal years. So mine are sort of 16 to 19 years old. And so they would have been in their teenage years. Some of them didn't do some of their really important exams, they were cancelled and they were
right.
just given like predicted grades. They didn't have a prom, all these rites of passage that help shift you and transition you over into adulthood just kind of fell by the wayside for them. So we just have to work that bit harder just to get through some of their social anxieties and just general anxieties as well. It's kind of rife. And I think journalism has been a way that actually what I get them to interview people that they genuinely find really interesting. So if I've got
Absolutely.
a boy who likes football, but he's quite shy, I'll find a football player or a manager for him to go and
Talk
interview.
to. Yep.
Yeah, and it really brings them out, and I get them to practice on each other as well. And I say, right, go and interview your classmate and get a story out of them that you know nothing about. You know,
Absolutely.
ask them what the best day of their life was, or if you want to feel uncomfortable, what was the worst day of their life if they don't mind sharing. And we
Sure.
and we practice, and it's very rewarding. It's the highlight of my week, actually, I must say.
Absolutely. No question about that. I love those. I love that you do that for that class because interpersonal interaction is key in journalism. That's how we build sources. That's how we talk to people. That's how we get stories.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm getting my master's as an older gentleman as we speak
I
because
love
I
that.
definitely want to teach. Interviewing is one of the classes that I'm interested in doing. I think I'll be pretty decent in teaching that class, and it's also a pivotal class in journalism
Yeah,
because you got to ask the right questions
yeah,
depending on the beat that you're covering, and you got to also read the interviewee and the temperature of that. Sometimes you got to know when to cut it short. Sometimes you got to know when to push. So I would
yeah.
love to be able to do that for sure. I get my master's next May. So I'm looking forward.
Congratulations in advance. That's big stuff.
Thank you so much, dear. I do appreciate that. I want to ask you some favorite questions, and
Yeah,
you
go
just
for it.
give me the 411 off the rip based upon these
I
questions.
will.
Naomi, are you
Got
with me?
it. I am with you so bad. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, I love it. Okay, here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Oh, okay. Okay. Mexican fajitas, chicken with vegetables, quite a
Mm,
lot of spice for me, not for the kids. They can't handle it. But I'll put all that on. I put pineapple in them. Controversial, I know, but trust me, don't knock it till you've tried it. It's so good. Yeah, there you go. Mexican.
okay, well, you've already won my heart. I mean, been on here about 10 minutes. I'm a huge Mexican food lover, huge Italian
Yes,
food lover. I'm definitely will be pulling up in the UK. I'm gonna have to say hello.
absolutely. There's a place for you here. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate that. I'm huge into tacos. That's why I say Mexican food. So I could whip up some tacos pretty good, and plus it's fast. We're journalists. I'm a sports journalist, so working nights and weekends is evident.
Yeah,
So I need
yeah.
something quick for sure.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, I like that. Like that first answer. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Ah, okay, right. So, Usher.
Really?
Usher,
Wow.
baby. Yeah.
All
He
right.
brought he brought Atlanta to London. He was amazing. It's not just because I find him really good looking. That's just a side note. But he was everything and more. His vocal range is incredible, and you forget how many hits he's had. So he was
Absolutely.
just going on and you'd kind of forget, and then he'd bring it all the way back to like, you remind me and you make me wanna, and then he'd bring it right up to the current day with his kind of more dancey stuff. P- Chef's kiss.
Absolutely, on that. Definitely loved Usher. I've also seen him in person. I mean, he's a classic dude. I mean, what
Mhm.
song? There's so many songs out there that he does. One of my favorites is "Moving Mountains." If you know about that one, "Moving
Of
Mountains."
course.
That's one of my favorites of his. Definitely seen him in person. I would definitely have to say, for me, probably it is I'm huge in a rap and hip hop. So Jay-Z
Yeah.
and Kanye is definitely that concert Watch the Throne to see them two do their
Oh,
single stuff and the album stuff.
and then
That was
together.
but Alicia
Yeah.
Keys also got a chance to see her.
Oh, yeah, Queen.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So Alicia Keys for sure.
She's
I love that.
timeless, isn't she? Yeah, I love
Mm.
it. I love it. Look, you guys produce a lot of the best music. We're okay with that. We get it. We get it.
Oh, appreciate that. Well, I do. And see, the same love you have for Usher, I have for Alicia Keys. Cause I was looking at I was thinking about, oh my God, she's so beautiful on that stage.
Oh,
She
she
looks
is.
so good. So no question. She's talented and one of my favorite concerts for sure. Okay. Favorite place, Naomi, you've ever traveled to?
Okay. So this would be boring to somebody in the UK because we go there. A lot of people from England go there all the time, but Spain.
Mm.
I do love America, I promise, and I love Vegas especially. But
Oh yeah.
Spain has my heart because as soon as you get to Spain, um, you slow down so much. They have a nap in the middle of the day. I mean, that is perfection.
That
They
is.
have a siesta, and also I speak Spanish. And it was my love of Spain that made me want to learn how to speak Spanish. And there's a tiny island called Menorca. There's Majorca and Menorca, and Menorca is absolutely just perfect, beautiful, stunning.
Hmm. Okay. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias. Let me do an introduction because I was learning this the other day. So
Yeah.
someone said, "What do you do?" And it was a Spanish person. So I was like, I want to do it really fluently. So I was like, "Hola, soy Naomi. Soy un presentadora de podcast. El podcast es una verdad de crimen y una productora de televisión también y un profesora en el colegio. Estoy aprendiendo español 2 noches por semana en línea con mi profesora Farah. Farah es bélgica y habla 7 lenguas, chino, ruso, Italia, Francia, inglés, alemán, Japón. Es muy, muy loco, es muy increíble. Para mí, me encanta la lengua en palabras en español. Es muy, muy bonita.
Muy bueno.
I didn't know how Spanish you spoke, whether you just knew the kind of basics. I just thought I'd
No,
just
no, I understood what you were saying. For the most part, poquito hablo español though. For me, but I definitely knew that. No
Oh,
question. That's
good.
I love that. I would say Cabo San Lucas for me because I love
Yeah,
Mexico. Yeah, that's my favorite place.
absolutely. And you're so close, aren't you? I mean, how long would it take you to get there from where you are?
Well, I'm in Minnesota now, so probably maybe a few hours, maybe 2, 3 hours, because it's not too long from now that I'm in the Midwest, it shouldn't be that long to get to the West Coast for sure. I just went on a cruise about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Went to the Cayman Islands, Jamaica,
Oh,
Cozumel,
wow.
Mexico, and the Bahamas. So I'm a traveler,
Oh,
so I love to travel.
cool.
So like I said, London is definitely on my list.
Hmm.
Um, Another cruise is on my list too. So I'm talking to a travel
Absolutely.
agent right now to try to see what we can do as far as going on another cruise.
Absolutely. Oh, you're living a great life.
I'm
I love
trying
that.
to.
Yeah.
Listen,
Right.
you got one life to live. You got to live it to the
That's it.
fullest, damn it.
That's it.
No doubt. I feel it. Okay. Two more favorites. Now I'm a sports person, Naomi, so I'm gonna
Mhm,
ask you a sports question.
mhm.
Favorite
Okay.
sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport
Okay.
you like to attend in person? They can be the same sport.
Okay. So what I love watching on TV is anything to do with skiing,
No,
because I love it so much. And I was taken there when I was younger by the school, well, by a college that I went to, and I
sure.
loved it. And I thought it was exhilarating. Um,
Mm.
and so that's what I like to watch in TV. But in person, it's not that great because you can only see a very short view of it. So I guess I would have to, it will be football. Yeah, it would be football, especially if David Beckham's playing.
Okay, now. Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I love me some football.
Oh, so it's
Amer
soccer. Sorry, yeah, sorry. I know there's a there's a difference because your football is different from our football, isn't it? But soccer.
Uh, yeah, but I love soccer too. We have a I've started playing it a lot more often lately. And I love the sport because just how the ball is flowing, people is flowing. I'm
Mm.
actually the goalie most times because I don't want to be running up and down with these
Oh.
young kids like that. I'll just stop you, and if you try to kick the ball, I'll stop it. But my favorite sport is basketball. Basketball, without question, is my favorite sport. But I love the fact you said skiing because nobody on the podcast has said skiing yet.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
It's
nobody has said
fascinating to
skiing.
watch.
Hmm.
And also as a working in TV, you can really appreciate how much effort goes into capturing the whole run. You know, it's
Mm,
the Winter Olympics are always really exciting for me to
I
watch.
love it. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, well now Naomi, I'm a foodie. Last of the favorites.
Okay,
Favorite
yeah.
restaurant you like to eat at? Now I definitely need these because when I do pull up to London, I plan on going to get me some good food. But where should I go?
Okay. Well, I'm going to direct you then to Yautja, it's called, and it's in London, and it's sushi and dim sum. Yeah. So it's I can't even describe how many flavors there are on their menu. And there's this big the whole wall is like a fish tank. And they have the most incredible cocktails that they make. So there's a bit of a Japanese sort of influence in there, and it's perfection. It's so good. Come up, I'll book us a table.
Please do. Please do. I would love that. It will be my first time trying sushi because I've never had sushi.
So good. It's so
Oh,
good. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Now hold on. Let me ask you, is sushi better cooked or raw?
You know what? It depends on what you have. It really
Okay.
depends on what you have. Do you like salmon?
Yes.
Okay. So with the salmon, I'd go raw, but then anything else I'd go cooked. And they do things with like chicken in there, and they do some really good veggie ones as well, which doesn't sound
Mhm.
as exciting, but I promise you it's the flavors. I don't know how they do it. They're like magicians and they make it look so incredible as well. And they do like the
I'm
steamed buns and
Mhm.
all the stuff you dip in. Oh, it's a party. It's a buffet on your table. It's great.
Okay, now I'm gonna let you lead the way on that one, and then I'm
Oh,
gonna just
yeah.
follow you. Ain't no doubt about that.
Come with me.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
with you. Okay, that's what's up. That got me excited. Let's talk about your day to day. As
Mhm.
you know, being in media, journalism, our days are never the same.
Never.
We always have different days every single day of the week, different things going on. Our hours are also not the same. We don't work a
Yeah.
regular 8 to 4, 9 to 5 business. Okay, we swipe out, we're done for the day. No, there's times when we have long days, there's times when we have shorter days. They just fluctuate, right? It's hard for a person that's not in this industry to understand what the hell I'm talking about, to be honest. Talk to me about your day working at Curve Media Limited. I know that you also produce a lot of different podcasts as well.
Mhm.
Talk
Mhm.
to me about how your day is and the projects that you have going on and what your day consists of.
Yeah. So 4 days a week I work at Curve, and I work alongside all the talent and development stuff. So everything that we've got coming in. So it might be a documentary, it might be an entertainment show, it might be a game show. We've just finished filming one about chess, which sounds probably so incredibly bizarre, but actually it's fascinating, and they're people with the most incredible backstories who have found solace and community through playing chess. And so we've just done a competitive chess show, which has been really fun and different. Um, so for me, I'll get into work and I'll look at what needs to be done that day. My job is to liaise with all of our on-screen talent. So TV presenters, celebrities, their agents, finding them projects that we have coming up or that we could work around them, and then go
Okay.
pitch them out to the BBC, to MTV, to Discovery, to A&E. We do a lot of stuff with the US as well. And
Hmm.
once we kind of get sort of some green lights, then we sort the contracts and we go and start filming. So every day is completely different, but I go into London a couple of times a week, and then I work from home a couple of times a week as well. And that's usually where I'll do any sort of script writing or a bit of editing that I might need to do. And then on Tuesdays, I work at the local college. So the other 4 days, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's all in TV. I teach on a Tuesday. And then in the evenings, 2 evenings a week when my little ones are in bed, I sit down and write, produce, and edit a podcast, which is true crime stories, and they are with the aim to create awareness. Or if it's a family, might come to me and say, Naomi, my brother's missing and has been missing for 5 years. Can you do an appeal? So we'll do a full episode, and I market them as audio documentaries because that's
Right.
what they sound like. They're not conversational. They're journalism based and they're news based. So that's sort of how they sound. And I use things like 999 calls or 911 calls for you guys,
Yep.
police body cam footage, police interview footage. So I edit that down, put that in within the documentary as well. So if you
Oh, that's
imagine,
amazing.
if you like log on to Netflix and you watch a true crime documentary, if you were to
Right.
shut your eyes, I would hope that the podcast would sound like you could be watching that if it had visuals, but it doesn't. It's a podcast, so it's just voice. And so that's what I do 2 evenings a week, and the rest of the time I spend with my children, just trying to, you'll know this, Chris, as well, but your time management is kind of key in
Without question.
journalism and media for getting that balance, isn't it? And I tell you
Hmm.
what, Chris, I'm so proud to say that I work for a company where if I say, you know what, my kid's got a Christmas nativity play that I need to go and see, they'll be like, yeah, you go. If my son's got a football match, I will go, I don't have to miss anything because I'm lucky that we've got an organization that supports parents, both mothers and fathers, or anybody that they care for. And I'm so lucky to have that. So it's all time management. And if on the rare occasion, I can't, then somebody else will be there, their dad, my husband, or my mum or dad or whatever. They'll never miss out. And that's been really key. So yeah, that's and also the school holidays, I don't teach at the college, so I have that day off. And I take my kids to the farm or to the zoo or to the coast, go to a park or something. And that fills your cup up, doesn't it? When you spend time with the people that you love, you can kind of have a break from all of the interviews that you've been doing and the journalism. And if it has been a tough story you've been working on, then you get a bit of downtime, don't you? And you can just release.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, no. You definitely need to differentiate. You definitely need to
Yeah,
have time for yourself, for loved ones. Shout out to Curb Media Limited for doing that because there
absolutely.
are some organizations, Naomi,
Yeah.
that don't prioritize that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, hate to say it, but they just don't. And that's amazing. I love the fact that you do that podcast twice a week. How long does the podcast go? Let me ask you, how long do you normally do it for?
So it's been going on now for since 2022,
Hmm.
and it's a weekly podcast. And then alongside that, I do long form sort of investigations where I work with private investigators or PIs, or police officers or people that have retired or family members. And some of the series are more investigative in nature, and they're the ones without a resolution. So it could be a missing person, it could be a murdered person who has had no justice and there's been no accountability, or it could be a kind of scandal that's going on that's affecting lots and lots of people. So the underlying sort of issue is always injustice somewhere. And it's how can, even if, I would never say to someone, oh, I can get you justice. That's impossible. But what I can do is provide a platform for them to be heard and for their
Right.
truth to be told. And that's what I get. I get so much out of it. It's just like I'm sure you do with this podcast, because you're so consistent in all the episodes that you put out. And that only comes if you really love something, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Now, you
Yeah.
shedding the light, and that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You're shedding the light on a situation, and listen, the more light that you shed, the more people that can pay attention, the more people will
Yeah.
know about what you're doing and what's going on. It's a great
Yeah.
segue though, to mental
Thank
health and work-life balance.
you.
As you know, Naomi, I'm sure you've had some colleagues that have dipped out of this industry because of mental health and maybe work-life
Yeah.
balance. I know I have as well.
Yeah.
In the 6, 7 years that I've been doing this, um, talk to me about how you keep your mental health strong, being a mother, wife, daughter, friend,
Yeah.
also a worker as well, but also keeping your work life balance. You seem like a wonderful woman to be around. I mean,
Oh, thank you.
can't
Oh,
say
so
that
sweet.
enough. Cannot say that enough, but you also seem like you're very busy as well. And you hear words like burnout, uh, overworked, underpaid a lot in our industry. So talk to me
Yeah.
about how you keep your mental health strong and keep that work life balance.
You know what? It was something that I didn't learn until later in life because I was that person that would always be the first in the office and the last. And I didn't really know what I was trying to prove. And I think again, this is quite a big thing in the London scene as well, is that so I come from a county called Essex, which is I'm trying to how do I say this? It's not got the best reputation.
Okay,
It's kind of okay. I tell you what, it's like so you've got your TV show Jersey Shore, right? Yeah.
sure.
You
Yep.
imagine that you're not too far out. Okay, so
Wow. Okay.
parties, girls. I mean, I'm not doing it very much justice, but have blonde hair, lots of
Mm.
makeup, boys
Right.
sort of strutting around in tight
Just an
jeans.
active scene, pretty much. An active scene around that area. Okay.
An active scene where people are not always considered very bright, often because of our accents. Um,
Right. Right.
so, and there was a TV program on, and it's still running, called The Only Way is Essex, which is, it's a fun kind of reality show, but what it's done, I think a lot of people would sort of slightly look down on people from Essex sometimes, not everyone, just a small amount of people. And so when
Sure.
I was in the industry, especially when I started, there were a lot of people who had gone to university and had had really sort of good stellar upbringings, and were kind of from really nice parts of England. And I sort of I have fine-tuned my accent a bit because I found that I was sort of not, I wouldn't say judged, but people would maybe shoehorn me in a
Sure.
certain way, and and so I was always that one working extra hard to kind of prove that I can be there. I haven't been to uni, but I can do this. I can do this, and I've got a bit of a problem with spelling sometimes. I get a bit confused with some stuff. It's just something I've
But
always had.
but words over there are spelled differently though. Some words.
Yeah,
Sure.
some of our words are spelled differently,
Yeah.
and sometimes, if I made a mistake, I'd really go, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" So I'd work extra hard just to kind of, compensate for that. And then I
Sure.
got to a point in life, Chris, and I'm not sure if maybe you're there because I think you're quite a bit younger than me, but when you get to that point and you think boundaries, if I died tomorrow, would I
Mhm.
have any real regrets? Um, my really, and I know people wax lyrical about their kids, but actually it really was that for me. It was, you know, I really want to see my kids grow up and they bring me joy. I mean, it's hard work. My God, it's hard work. Kids are hard, man. But they do bring you this joy and this peace. And you're so proud of them, even like my son earlier ate all his broccoli today. I was ecstatically happy. I mean, that's quite sad, really, but I was like, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. And I really take time just to really love those moments and just to be really present for them. So it's just been, I guess it kind of filters into the previous question. Really good time management has helped with mental health and just putting up my own boundaries. So I don't apologize anymore when I have to take my kid to the doctor or I have to go to the doctor. I say, I
Sure.
need to go to the doctors. And they're like, okay. And I realize that actually I've built it up in my head asking to go to the doctors. Like, my work need me to be well. So if I need to go to the doctor, I'll go to the doctor and then come
Yeah.
back, and then just take that time for you and just have moments where you're kind of still. And I really love being outside as well. I'm not sure about you, Chris, but nature does something to me that it just sort of cuts you off a bit. You go a bit off grid, just for a couple of hours, even just walking through the forest. Or we've got a really big where I live, there's a big forest, really famous forest in England. And so just
Okay.
walking through there, it's kind of safe because there's lots of people around, and there's a bit of lighting and stuff. But it's also, you do feel cut off from media. You don't get a phone signal there. So, you can't be kind of looking at your phone and sort of, you know what it's like, oh, a story's
Right.
coming, or, oh, an offer's coming for a show, or you just really can cut off. So I think maybe that's it. And the gym as well, going to the gym, because when you're moving, you can't be on your phone, and you can't be thinking about work. Because I go to a boot camp, and my trainer is very hardcore on all of us, and she makes us sweat, and
Okay.
she's like,
I
you're
love it.
here to sweat, you're here to get fit, you're not here to worry about work. And it, those that dopamine and those endorphins kick in, and it really helps. It's hard work though.
Absolutely.
Hard work.
Absolutely. No question. And I love that answer. I do. Yes, definitely the gym. I like to write poetry as well.
Oh,
Yes, huge
beautiful.
in the nature as well. Here in Minnesota, we do have some trails that I like to go on. I don't walk them now because it's cold as hell outside, but
I feel you.
summertime for sure, for sure. I'm definitely walking those trails for sure. Put my headphones on and then
Yeah.
just go to, just have some quiet time.
Yeah.
Think about some things, and I
Yeah.
love that. I love the fact that you balance all of that. That's just amazing to do.
Thank you.
It shows again how amazing you are, but it also shows a great support system as well that you probably have there as well, and
Yeah,
people that help you out as well.
absolutely.
Do what you do.
Definitely.
Um, I want to ask this next question is about advice. What
Mm,
advice would you give somebody that is a postgraduate or
mm,
somebody that may be an intern or
mhm,
one of your kids that maybe you teach in class or somebody like me who's in their 30s because I'm in my
mhm,
30s. Um, what advice would you give someone that wants to be in the media industry space?
mhm. You know what? Your advice at the beginning was so, so, so good. And I'm going to take that, and I'm going to tell my students that on
Okay.
Tuesday. But I think make make yourself memorable in some way. And I find the best way to do that is through being really kind to everybody that you meet. Look people in the eye if you can. Some people struggle with that, but if you can, look people in the eye. um Body language is so powerful. Don't I've had a few students who talk to me while they're on their phone, and I go, put that phone down, and I'm like, that that that's made me think you're not listening to me, you're not giving
Sure.
me that full attention. And all you need to do is do that for like a minute, to give someone your full attention. And I tell you what I do, because I have to deal with a lot of like celebrity agents and on-screen talent. I've got this little book, it must be in my desk somewhere. And what I do is I write down things like their kids' names. Or if they tell me that, oh, I can't work, I can't make that meeting because my mum's having a hip operation, right? And I'll write it down. And the next time I see them, I'll say, how was your mum's hip operation? Did it go okay? How is little Johnny and Sally doing? How are the kids? God, Johnny must be finishing school soon. What's his plan? Um,
Sure.
if they've changed their hair. Oh wow, I love your new hair. That's amazing. You look great.
Hmm.
Take care of yourself. I always say that at the end. Please take care of yourself. And those personal interactions, you know, not only will they actually make you feel good as a person, they'll build your character, and people will remember you for how nice you were. And your work almost becomes secondary to that, because I think people want to work in environments that they really enjoy, and they want
Yeah.
people they can rely on, and that they would trust with other bits of their workload, for example. So whenever I hire someone, I always think, would I feel really happy, buying lunch for them and having a good chat, during, because I think that would just make our working relationship better. So I think that's probably what it is. Make yourself as memorable as possible for the right reasons.
I
And
love
set
it.
your boundaries. And set your boundaries.
I love it. I do. And yes,
Boundaries.
that is key. A lot of
Yeah.
journalists, people in media, sometimes don't set boundaries. Like we talked about before, you're always on the go and you're in improvement
Yeah.
mode first get it into this industry, right? You want to
Yeah.
make sure the bosses know that they made the right decision in hiring you because there's others that they could have, but you definitely have to set boundaries because I always tell my young boys and young girls this as well. Say yes to everything until you don't need to. So
Yeah.
you feel like you don't need to, is what I tell them. And they tell me, well, what do you mean? What I mean is you want to do everything that you possibly can as far as assignments goes or, just trying different things. But understand when the yeses start to turn into something that, is taken advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some certain
Absolutely.
companies will do that. And that's why, Naomi, I
Yeah.
have this podcast as well. There's an A side and B side. The A
Yeah.
side is what you just talked about. You're teaching, you're producing, you're podcasting, just reaching kids, being a pillar in the community, being an advocate for the voiceless, right? That's why we do it. We love to do it. This is
Yeah.
a wonderful
Yeah.
business. But there's a B side as well. And the
Very,
B side
very.
is um sometimes when you are in journalism or you're in media, you miss celebrations, you miss time with your friends, you miss time with your family, you
Yeah.
miss holidays when you first starting out too. You miss a lot of things till you get to the point to where you possibly can start not to miss as much. But you got to handle that. You're working all different kinds of shifts, and
Yeah.
you never know what kind of shifts you're working until you're in it. And sometimes you're doing stories and doing things that you might not be as comfortable with, which goes back to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and I say that because you have to make decisive decisions in order to be in this industry. But you also have to know the A and B side. It's not about the glitz and glamour. And sometimes when
Hmm.
they see the beautiful woman like yourself, either on TV or presenting or doing your thing or teaching, man, she got it made. But there's a lot of things that
Oh,
go into
no.
what you do that people
Yeah.
don't know behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Um, and people,
Absolutely.
people don't know that. And they should.
Hmm. They should. Everyone should know the ups and downs of everything. And maybe that is why, it's so important to have people that do work in industry doing some kind of teaching, because then they do get the realities of it. And you just be honest with them. And actually, they really like the honesty because,
They do.
especially young people, they know, they're so smart. They're so
Mhm.
switched on. Like, you could say to them, if I went in and said my job's perfect, they'd all call BS. They'd be like, no,
Oh, yeah.
I know you're lying.
Yep.
It's all roses. And then actually, if you're just really honest with them, they really appreciate that. I think they really do. They know what they're getting into. Every job,
Without
I'm yet to find anyone who's got the perfect job. So
doesn't exist. It really
doesn't it?
doesn't. It does not exist. What
But there's a
we
song
what
lyric. There's a song lyric, Chris, that I live by, right? And it
sure.
says, um, if I'm spared all the highs, then I'm spared all the lows. And it's basically saying, you can't have one without the other. And sometimes you need to have a bad day to really appreciate the really good days. And I sort
Absolutely.
of that's a great thing to remember, I think, when we have those really tough days. It's like, okay, this is tough now. We'll get through this, and then we'll get a really good day. We'll get a really good day back in return. The universe will give us one, I'm sure. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Experience is the best teacher, good or bad.
Hmm.
No question about that.
Did that.
I love that. We are now at the portion of the podcast, Naomi, where we're going to do the interactive game of this or that. So
Okay.
this is
Love that.
where I throw some things at you and you get to choose this or that. Naomi, are you with me?
I'm so with you, Chris. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Let's rock with it now. So we've been vibing all podcast long. I don't even know if you tried these two places or not, but I'm going to throw them out. Okay, they're two Americanized places.
Okay.
Have you ever tried Popeyes and KFC?
Okay. Yes, I have. So I've got family in LA. So I know all about it. I'm
Okay,
going Popeyes.
I love it. Girl, I knew you and me. We in sync. I
Hmm.
know that. what's up. I love it. I'm a Popeyes person too. Okay, here we go. Chicken wing flavors: barbecue or lemon pepper.
Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Boneless. I'm a bit of a wuss.
That's okay. That's all right. I tell everybody says this, Naomi. They say, "Well, boneless wings ain't nothing more than a chicken nugget." Well, this is the
I
question that
love
I
chicken
pose.
nuggets.
So yeah, and I'm like, I love chicken nuggets, and I always ask them if they put it on the plate, is your ass gonna eat it or not?
Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah.
always ask them. Yeah, yeah, and you will eat it. There's no question about it. You're not gonna say send it back because it ain't got no bones in it. You gonna eat the meat,
And
and you
if you've got a
should.
manicure, it's much easier than, kind of trying to get it all off of that. Look.
That is exactly true. That should be the first thought in your mind. If you order boneless wings, make sure that you order it when you get that manicure for sure.
That's right.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that totally. These next four have to do with music concerts that you
Okay.
rather attend.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. hmm
So, which artist would you rather see?
hmm
Would you rather see Aerosmith or the Eagles?
Eagles.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I like how decisive you are, by the way.
Mm. Hotel
Which
California, but banger.
Oh yeah, that's a bop. I like that.
hmm
Okay. Which artist would you rather see in concert? Brandy or Monica?
Oh, Brandy. Obsessed with her. Love her. I can still do the theme tune to Moesha. More to the E to the.
Did I?
Yeah. I can do the
Okay,
whole
yeah, I'm
dance. I
with
can
you on
replicate
that.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, you got a little
Brandy
flavor to you,
forever.
Naomi. I like that. I like that. Girl, it's gonna be nice seeing you in person now. I like that. You got a little flavor too. Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right. Next concert. Which concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Boys to Men or New
Mhm.
Edition?
Boys to Men. Every day. I'd have to take my mum because she's obsessed.
Okay.
Loves
Shout
them.
out to Naomi's mom too, because she got some good taste
She
in
loves
music.
it. Yeah, she loves it.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. Okay. Last one of the favorites. Well,
Oh,
not favorites, but last one of the this or that with music. Which artist would you rather see in their prime? Whitney Houston or Janet Jackson?
Whitney Houston.
Mm,
Whitney. Every damn day. Oh my goodness. She in the UK, I mean, she is like her and Mariah are the queens. My other
okay.
queen is Toni Braxton is my absolute favorite.
Wow.
She never tours here. I've I asked her on Instagram and she didn't write back.
You know what?
And Missy
Listen,
Elliott, I asked Missy Elliott and Missy Elliott replied to me. Can you believe that? I
you
got a
did.
message from Missy Elliott. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
I
Wow.
know.
Can you what did she say? Did she say
Yeah,
yes,
so I
no?
wrote, so she puts up these videos, and what I love about her is um she's someone who just embraces everybody. If you go through
Hmm.
all her back catalogs of music, she has represented like Asian heritage, she's come over to European, she's done Mexican, Latina, she's done black culture so well. And she put up two people dancing to her songs, and
Okay.
one of them was a larger kind of European woman, and then there was like a I don't know what he was, but he was like a Jamaican, maybe gentleman or something, West Indian, and they were dancing together, and I just said something to her like, I love how your music crosses the whole world. Like
Mhm.
everyone just loves you. You hit every genre and you're just a genius. And I was just fangirling a bit. And it was 4 weeks before I was getting married. And I said, um, just so you know, on our playlist, we've got all the Missy hits, all of them, they're all coming out. And she wrote back to me and she was like, this is awesome. Early congratulations for your wedding. And can you imagine? I woke up to that message and I was like,
That's what's up. That's dope as
Missy
hell.
Elliott.
I love
I
that.
wrote back to her, I was like, Missy, there is a plate for you at the top table. Like, if
I
you're in
know that's
London,
right. I
please
know
come
that's
down.
right.
Like, she didn't come,
Mm,
but she was with us in spirit. And when we put Work It on, everyone got to, even my nan, who's in her 80s, she was dancing. We loved
I
it.
like that.
We
Yes,
loved
Work It, definitely one of my favorites, no doubt. Ooh, I sock it to me like you want to. Oh, that's my favorite too. That's my favorite one
Can't
too.
Stop the Rain if we're going right back,
Right, right. Absolutely. Missy is fire. No question about it. I love me some Missy, no doubt. Okay. Which sport would you rather play if you had to?
Mm.
Badminton or bowling?
Badminton.
Are you good at badminton?
No. But again, these nails and bowling, they don't quite don't quite work. If I'm being honest.
You ain't putting them nails in no ball. I got you. I totally understand.
No, no.
Okay, listen, that's all right. That's all right. All right. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Would you rather
Mhm.
watch basketball or hockey?
Basketball.
I'm with you on that. Totally with you on that. Okay. Which city did you appreciate more? Las
Mhm.
Vegas or Los Angeles?
Las Vegas. Oh, that's really tough because a lot of my family live in LA, but Vegas is, come on, it's something else, isn't it? It's
It
just,
is. It is. I'll be there in
oh,
April. So I'm definitely going to Vegas in April.
oh,
So yeah,
fun.
should be a good time. Should be a very good time. Yes. This next one here has to do with, do you like desserts?
Absolutely. I live by them. Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you on that, girl. I'm with you. All right. So I'm gonna throw four categories of
Yeah, go.
desserts at you. You have
Okay.
to eliminate one of these you'll never eat again.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. The first one is cake.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is cookies.
Mm-hmm.
The last one is candy. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Cookies, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's a tough one right there.
It
Wow.
is
Cookies,
tough. It
huh?
is tough. But you know
Okay.
what?
Okay.
If you think logically, yeah, cake is
Mhm.
for your celebrations, yeah, your weddings, your baby showers, your
Of
birthdays, your
course.
anniversaries, yeah. Candy, look, if I go to the movies or something, I want some gummy bears. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah,
And
yeah.
ice cream, come on. I mean, look, Ben and Jerry's, they're two of my favorite people
Okay.
in the world.
So y'all got Ben and Jerry's out there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. I'm definitely gonna have to pull up to a Ben and Jerry's. I'm a huge cookies and cream
Oh yeah.
person,
Mhm.
so that's my
Yep.
favorite.
Get that.
I would get rid of candy because I can't get rid of red velvet cake. That's my favorite cake, red
Hmm.
velvet.
Yeah.
And chocolate chip cookies, along with the white fudge Oreos. White fudge Oreos. They're very good. Very
That
good.
does sound good. That does sound really good.
Absolutely. Do you like potato chips?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we call them crisps here.
Oh, crisp. Oh, okay. I'm with you
Crisps.
on that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that,
Do you want a
Naomi.
packet?
Well,
We like say like, do
I'm
you want a packet of crisps? Like that.
mm,
That's what we say.
okay. So I'm gonna throw out four brands of crisp, and you go ahead and let me know which
Okay.
one you eliminate. Okay. So here we
Okay.
go.
Hmm.
First one is Doritos.
Hmm.
The next one is Ruffles.
Hmm.
The next one is Lay's. The
Hmm.
last one is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of that you will never eat again?
I'm saying goodbye to Ruffles because we don't have them here.
Oh,
I do know what they are, but we
oh,
don't have them here. So I can get my hands on all the others. And we call Lay's, we call Walkers here. So it's the same brand, but we call them Walkers. Don't know.
focus. Okay.
Walkers crisps. And you've got to say it in a very British accent.
Woke crisp. I don't know if I
Walkers.
could do that. I don't know if I could do that. I might be too. I might be too brother over here. Might be too much brother over here.
We got plenty of brothers here in London. We are the
You
most.
know it.
We are very diverse here. So we hear all kinds of accents just in London. That
Gotcha.
sounded pretty good. I've got to be honest. Well done. That was.
Thank you so much, Naomi. I appreciate that. I'm definitely gonna get some Walker's crisp when I'm there for sure. No question. But so here's my thing. Ruffles are the
Mhm.
sour cream and cheddar. I can't believe y'all don't have them over there. They're the
No,
second
we
greatest
don't.
chip ever made. Second greatest chip in my mind ever made.
Oh,
The do you like salt and vinegar chips?
yes, very much so. So, but it's
Bless
funny
your heart.
because when you say salt and vinegar chips, okay, so if you were to order that here in the UK, you would get fries. Yeah. So what you would call fries, but they'd be quite thick fries. And you usually get them on the coast, so like on the seafront. And they, when we say salt and vinegar, like they would be covered in salt and vinegar, like covered.
Ugh. Whew, Lord have mercy. God bless your heart, man. God bless your heart. That's probably the second worst chip ever made. I'm gonna be honest with you. The second worst.
Okay,
Now, the second, yes, because the first is Funyun. I don't know if you ever heard of those, but
okay,
Funyuns are onion type of chips.
okay.
And yeah, they're horrible. I mean, whoever made them, I would just have to smack all of them off the shelf and step on the back. This is absolutely horrible. It can't
Got
get
it.
no worse than that.
Got it. Okay.
But you did pretty good on this or that. I like how decisive you were. You know how many
Oh,
people
very.
waffle on answers on that? They
Oh,
just be
I
like,
can imagine.
yes, it's
But
just
we
so
haven't
much
got
of a
time to waffle about that, haven't we? You know, we've just got to get it out.
that's what I love about you, Naomi. I love it. I totally love it. But one thing we do know decisively, we are not going to eat no salt and vinegar crisp anytime soon in London. Not together. We can't do it. But that's okay. There's other things we can do. There's other things we can
We could
do.
do other things. We could do other things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um, this next question has to do with if you wasn't a producer or in the media
Yeah.
space, right? If you
Mhm.
wasn't in the media space and you decided to do a different career path, what would that career path be and why?
A midwife. So going back to kind of the antenatal teaching, it was always something that was kind of secondary for me.
Mhm.
And actually the real honest reason why I didn't go down that route was I actually didn't think I was intelligent enough to pass the exams,
Oh
because
wow.
I didn't think I wasn't confident. And I think a lot of people are like that. And then my brother and sister really wanted to get into medicine in somehow. They always just wanted to help people. And so me and my mum and dad really pushed them into it, and they did get there, and it was a lot of work. And my sister works as a children's nurse, and my brother is an anaesthetist, so he works in surgery a lot. And they're both doing
Wow.
incredible careers. And I think if
Yeah.
it wasn't, if media hadn't, if that opportunity hadn't opened up that day when I asked Trisha Goddard, that presenter, for a job, then I would probably at some point, I think I would have gone into midwifery when my confidence was up a bit, and yeah, been there to deliver babies, I think, hopefully.
I think you would have been absolutely terrific at that. No question
Oh,
about it.
thank you.
I love asking that question because you get all different kinds of
I
answers.
can imagine you do. What would you have done?
Theater for sure.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I love plays. I love musicals. I'm a huge theater buff. My one of my goals in life is to go to New York and watch a play on Broadway, for sure. I was gonna ask you, are there any like theater plays there or musicals that they
Oh my
do?
goodness. Yeah, we've got the West End. So
Okay.
West End of London is basically Broadway. And so a lot of shows, once they finish in Broadway, they end up in the West End and vice versa. So we have like Wicked, we have Thriller, Matilda, depending on what kind of sort of genre you like. But we
Mhm.
have everything and more. We have so many.
Wicked is definitely top three of musicals for
Yeah.
sure. I would throw Hairspray in there, and I would throw Rent as my three. But Wicked definitely. I know obviously the movie's coming out in about a couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
definitely want to see it live again. I can't see it enough live. So yeah, that would be also be something I'll be looking at.
Oh
While
yeah, come to London, and yeah, get into some of our theatre because it's amazing. And there's a Ben and Jerry's right next to most of the theatres, so you
oh
can
my gosh, it's time still delivered. Then damn it, I'm definitely doing it. Okay,
absolutely.
I'm with you on that. All right,
Must.
that's what's up.
Must.
What advice has someone gave you? Now we talked about advice we would give others, but
Yeah,
what is the
yeah.
advice that someone gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Um, I think it must have been keep your enthusiasm. Even if you don't feel enthusiastic about something,
Mhm.
just act like you're enthused. And sometimes in our jobs, we'll be put onto assignments that are not, that it wouldn't naturally be the sort of TV show that I would naturally watch myself, maybe. So, for
Right.
example, we do some things with like antiques here in the UK, you know, or auctions. That's not really my kind of thing, but it's a job and I'll bring my enthusiasm to it and I'll
Sure.
learn something about it and I'll make sure I have fun in some way. So I think keep your enthusiasm, even if it's fake. So
You know what? That's some damn good advice, Naomi.
it
That is. I can remember covering a fish tournament, and I was like, I'm looking around. There's nobody of the same pigmentation as me, and I'm
I
walking
can
around
imagine.
here, and I'm like, there's 50 something boats. I don't fish. I don't ice fish. I don't regular fish. I just eat
Oh,
fish. That's all I do. Uh,
absolutely.
but these people was catching fish and talking about all these different kind of fishes, and they
Yeah,
said, "Hey, do you want to touch the fish and put it down?" Because it was a fishing competition. They would put it on the board and weigh it. So yeah, I
right.
said, "Okay, sure, I'm gonna try it." Yeah, let me get some gloves on. I put it on. So when I put the fish in my hand, damn thing started wobbling fast, and I'm like, "Oh!" I was like, "Hold on now." I'm like, "Wait." I'm like, all right, let's put this thing up in here. I don't want to touch that no more. I don't want to touch nothing that's wobbling like that. I don't want to do that. So yeah, that wasn't my cup of tea. But like you said, you got to put on a good face, fake it till you make it. So
Absolutely. And then you've made a connection. You've made a new connection there. That person
I
will
did it.
remember you and the fact that you put yourself out there and did it. And
Hmm.
there's a connection, put it in your black book. And that's your, I don't know if you use that phrase, the little black book is what we have in the
Hmm.
UK. And it's got all of our contacts in it. And it's such a oh God, if I ever lost it, I'd be lost. But you can sort of think, oh, I need an expert on, I don't know, volcanoes, right? Who have I got? You'll find some.
Right, right.
It's a crazy book,
Absolutely.
but we love it. Yeah, we love our little books.
That is awesome. That's awesome. We are coming to the end of the podcast, so we're gonna do rapid fire. So rapid fire now is the first thing that comes to your mind based upon these questions. Are you with
Okay.
me?
I'm I'm with you, Chris.
Okay,
Totally.
you've been rocking with me all podcast, girl. I'm with. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go.
Good.
Burgers or tacos?
Burgers,
Okay, waffles or pancakes?
waffles,
Ooh, I like that. Chicken or ribs?
chicken,
Okay, favorite alcoholic drink?
mojito.
Ooh, I don't think I've had one of those. What is that?
Oh, so you can have spiced rum or just normal rum, with mint and lime, a bit of brown sugar, mix it
Okay,
up, bit of soda water, perfection, loads of ice.
okay, I'm definitely trying one of those. That sounds
Oh
good
yeah,
as hell.
we've got every flavor here as well. Yeah.
Feel you on that. That's what's up. Okay, favorite board game?
Monopoly.
Ooh, that's mine too, by the way. Okay,
Get that
got
money, even if it's
absolutely,
fake.
absolutely. I'm a beast when I get Park Place and Boardwalk. Now I'm a beast when I get both of
You
them.
know it. You know it.
Absolutely. Okay. Favorite card game.
Oh, gin rummy,
Okay, got you. Spades or dominoes.
dominoes.
Okay. If you had three people that you could take plus you, so a total of four, that you could
Mhm,
take with you on a vacation anywhere, who would those
mhm.
three people be and where would you go?
Oh my goodness. Okay. LL Cool J. Um, there's a rapper called Russ that I really like from Atlanta, and
Absolutely.
Eminem.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where would
Eminem,
y'all and where would you go?
LL Cool J, Russ. We'll go to Spain. I'll take them to Spain. I'll show them around. We'll go to Menorca.
I like that. Okay, so you about that hip hop. I like that too. Okay, so you got a
Look,
lot
I
of
was
flavor
I
to
was
you.
brought up in the 90s, baby. This is what we had. I mean, we had the Spice Girls as well, but
I was just about to ask about that because yeah, me too. Definitely raised in the '90s as well. So okay, I like that. We got some good flavors to you. I love that.
Mhm.
If you had three artists or three songs
Mhm.
that you can listen to and never get tired of listening to them on repeat,
Oh,
who would those artists or songs be?
okay. I'm gonna go album.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go albums. Yeah, Tony Braxton, The Secrets album, number one.
That's a good one.
Luther Vandross, Greatest Hits,
Oh, you
and
can't go wrong with Luther.
and Eminem, Slim Shady, LP.
Got you. I got you. I think I would rock with I definitely would choose Eminem. Mine would be the Eminem Show. I definitely like that album.
Oh, do you know what? Now you've said that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
rock with that.
the
I
curtain
listen.
one, the one with the curtain on the front. That's really good as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he has an all-time favorite song of mine on there called Mockingbird. So that's
Oh,
my
I love Mockingbird. Yeah, yeah. It's got his
definitely
daughter in
good.
it, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
starter Haley. I like Big Luther. Now I don't know if you like Skinny Luther or Big Luther, but I like Big Luther with one with the curls, and he was,
Mhm.
never too much, never
Best
too
thing
much, never
in
too
the
much.
story, yeah. Yeah,
Right,
with
right, right.
Janet. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely,
But now, see,
absolutely.
now that is such a hard question because now I'm sitting here thinking about Jagged Edge's Jagged Little Pill, which was so good
That
back
was
in the
good.
day. Um, and then, I have to throw some Brits in there as well, don't I, really? Maybe I should say, oh God, I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
you could if you want to, but you don't need to. But you could if you want to. Yeah,
I
sure.
feel like I should, I've so Americanized this interview, haven't I?
Listen, that's okay. That's all right. Listen, you are talking to me, and we are vibing right now,
We're
Naomi. Okay, we
vibing,
vibing.
vibing.
Yes. Do you know all those music artists that you mentioned? That
Hmm.
would be just a nice stroll through London. Just
Hmm.
be listening to
Yeah,
that music, just
yeah,
cruising. That is just that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing.
absolutely.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? We got three more for the rapid fire. Okay, favorite
Okay.
sandwich.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so boring, but cheese. I love cheese so much.
Grilled cheese. Pretty
Yeah,
simple. No, it's cool.
yeah.
Grilled cheese is pretty good. Favorite
Mm.
color.
Red.
That's mine too. Okay. Second is blue. Second is blue for me, but
Okay,
red is
yeah.
first. No question.
Mhm.
Okay. If they came up to you, last one, they came up to you and said, Naomi, you can only do one of these for the rest of your life.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Would you want to be a podcaster? Would you want to be a producer or would you want to be a teacher?
I'm going to say podcaster.
I love it.
And because I feel that in that you can do a bit of teaching, you can
Mhm.
do advocacy, and you can be your own boss and you can commission your own content. And so you can actually incorporate all those other roles within a podcast as well.
Yes, you can. I love that. I love it. This has been a really, really fascinating and amazing conversation with such a wonderful
Oh, same.
word.
Thank you for asking me to do it.
No, you've been amazing. And I'm really understating that, which is unfortunate, but you are definitely
You're
somebody
not.
who you're definitely someone who I enjoy talking to,
Thank
enjoy
you.
learning about.
Same.
Being my first guest from the UK and working as hard as you do, that's just amazing. I hope you're not the last guest, but I do appreciate you being the first guest. As I always do with my podcast, Naomi, I ask this final question. Is there anything else you would like to add about you, the job, industry, or anything in general before we conclude?
No, I would just say, um, I think we touched on this earlier, but we have one life. So all those opportunities that you get, just say yes. Unless they make you feel really uncomfortable and they're somehow triggering for you, then don't. Then put your
Sure.
boundaries up there and have boundaries. But for a majority, you never know where opportunities will take you. And that's part of life, isn't it? The unpredictability is quite nice sometimes.
Absolutely cannot plan for the unknown, but that also makes life exciting because you never know where life will take you or what road or journey you're going to be on, right? So
Absolutely.
just embrace the journey, enjoy the ride, and that's what I like to do.
Absolutely. And if
Um,
you do have a lot of American listeners, watchers and listeners, then this is a really shameless plug, but my podcast is called Real, Real, because it's all real stories. But about 50% of them are American stories. So I
love it.
speak to people in America, and I tell you what, it's really fascinating learning the difference between sort of laws in Britain and Australia. I do a lot of Australian and the US. It's very, 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 very different, but it's all a learning curve and it's all awareness, especially about quite topics that we don't always talk about in open conversations. So yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Well, Naomi, please, please, everybody, go check out her podcast, Real. I know she's amazing in doing so.
Thank
This has been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening out there,
thank
and we will definitely be in touch.
Absolutely. When you're in London, you hit me up. We're going to the West End for sushi, a mojito, Ben and
Hmm.
Jerry's, and we'll go see
Hmm.
Wicked.
I love that. I love that. That sounds terrific. You take care now.
And you. Thank you so much, Chris. See you soon. Bye.